Hi, I'm Katie Davis. You're about to watch a replay of a critique workshop, something that I do all the time, in fact, for 10 people every month in the Writer's Block membership. It's a virtual community. It's like a private clubhouse, a place where you learn the writing how-tos, you get inspiration and support, and you get publishing instruction and experts' knowledge, not just mine, but I also interview other experts. And you get an opportunity twice a month to go into a drawing to have your work critiqued in a workshop like you're about to see. You also get an annotated critique from me, so you can look at the notes and you can ponder it and you can decide whether or not to take the suggestions. Right now, we also have the Facebook group, private Facebook group, a guest expert Q&A, live community sessions I call the Writer's Playground, where we talk about all different kinds of things. That's live also. So check it out at katiedavis.com/writersblock, and I hope I see you in the neighborhood.
Picture books, by the way, Rosie, you don't need to put read to me picture book because picture books are to be read. So here we go. The Tale of Three Tails. Little Juju Mouse only had half a tail. When he asked about it, father and mother told him, you lost it in a mousetrap when you were a baby. Dr. Mouse saved your life. But Juju was a very little mouse and didn't understand these things. He still looked everywhere for the other half of his tail. He was exploring tree roots on the hill near his house when he found a string. He tied the string to the end of his tail. It was so long he couldn't see the end of it. I have the longest tail in the world, he shouted to Mother. Mother was very worried. So when Juju was asleep, she carefully untied the string. It was a good thing she did, too, because the next day somebody had pulled the string out. But Juju was a very little mouse and didn't understand these things. When he woke up, he was very upset with his mother for taking away his tail. She explained and explained, but it was no use. He stomped out of the house, back to the tree roots. He found the string all rolled into a ball. He climbed to the top of it and saw a cat on the other side. But since he thought the cat was sleeping, he climbed all over the string until he found a loose end. He unraveled the string and dragged it all the way back to his home. It was next to Cat, he bragged to his parents, and I brought it here all by myself without waking her. Juju's mother grabbed the string from him and threw it far from their house. If the string belonged to Cat, we could be in serious danger, said father. Nobody must leave the house. But Juju was very little mouse and didn't understand these things. He became sadder and sadder. By bedtime, he was sure that his parents did not love him or want him to be happy, so he decided to leave. He wrote a note that said, "Goodbye, love, Juju." His parents saw him go out. Cat saw him too. Poor Juju. Plug it in. Poor Juju froze in fright. Father jumped and squeaked to distract the cat. Cat ran after father. Mother pulled Juju into the house. Cat pounced on father and bit his tail off. Before Cat could drop the tail, Mother rushed to help father back inside. Juju tried to help Mother bandage father, but the wound was too serious. Juju, watch father, cried Mother, and off she ran to get Dr. Mouse. But Cat still wanted a mouse, so she chased Mother all the way to the doctor's house. The doctor and Mother ran out the back way, but Cat was watching and caught Mother by the tail. Mother pulled and pulled until her tail broke off. She and Doctor hid under tree roots, bandaging her tail. They took so long that Cat gave up and went away. Dr. Mouse put Mother to bed and fixed up father. Juju asked, "Could I be your helper, Dr. Mouse?" "Certainly, if you listen well," replied the doctor. Juju listened. He worked very hard and did his best, which was not perfect, but the best a little mouse could do. Father got better quickly, and then they helped Mother recover. His parents said they were grateful to be together, tails or no tails. Juju still wished his tail was longer. But now, although he was a very little mouse, Juju understood these things. And someday his own children would understand too, because of his tale of their three broken tails. So I love this title, The Tale of Three Tails. It's fun. Also, Rosie forgot to mention 500 words. This is 624. You got a cat. So I love this tale, but having said that, what do you want this story to be about? It can't just be constructed to serve the adorableness of the title. It's the tail wagging the mouse. It felt like you thought of this great title and then you needed to have a story with it. But I have some suggestions. So I'm thinking that, first of all, I think it was Vonnegut said, every character has to want something, even if it's only a drink of water. Okay. But we know little Juju Mouse wants a tail, right? He wants a normal tail. And it seemed to me, as I started thinking about this, that your pacing isn't as snappy as it could be because Juju's thinking and plotting and not understanding, and he needs to be doing, right? For example, like, why have him climb all over the top of the string? It's a waste of words. You don't need it. So, and it slows your story down. So I'm thinking like there's a couple of things. I'm going to get to that. So it might be more fun to have him maybe just plod through life and he's not realizing he's just narrowly missing the cat each time, like one of those old cartoons where the animal is just like all the luck is following, like things are falling crashing behind him as they like walk through unscathed, because every time the cat, if he has no tail or a short tail, the cat might go but misses because the tail isn't there, right? So something like that. But maybe the entire story is all about how Juju tries all these different funny things, like maybe he ties spaghetti to his tail, maybe it's all these different wiggly waggly, maybe he ties a worm to his tail, trying to get a normal sized tail. But why does he want a normal sized tail? Maybe he wants a normal sized tail because all the other kids are teasing him, all the other mice kids. So and then maybe he was born with no tail, which would be a good thing for kids, because everybody's different, right? So it might be good for him to be born that way, and then he hates it, he gets teased or something, but maybe something because he doesn't have a tail, that's what saves the day, and then he's proud of who he is. So like the cat getting him or something. Now and maybe he saves his bully, and that changes things too. So there's an arc right there. There's stakes, the whole works. So right now there's some kind of heavy brutality. Also the same with the territory story that we read before. Remember, you guys, these are little kids that are going to be reading this or being read to, and having a main character being killed and eaten is a big thing. So you have to really take care of these little readers. And so the kid in it lost his tail because of a mousetrap. His mother is maimed. His mother's tail breaks off. His father is so badly hurt that they can't fix him, have to get a doctor. So that's really a lot of brutality for the Say Train. So I want you to consider that. You can have a lot of this stuff off camera too, as it were. I know that you were setting something up when you wrote, it was a good thing she did too, the mother unties the string, because the next day somebody had pulled the string out. I didn't know what that meant. Because the first time somebody's reading it, they're going to read that. So you don't want to wait till later to explain that the cat pulled the string out. Okay. I always love a nice repetition, like, they talk about, I'm going to talk about the rule of three. To do things in threes is a pattern that is followed all over literature and storytelling and movies and all kinds of things. And you repeat, but Juju was a very little mouse and didn't understand these things, but I still don't think it's doing anything to move your story along. Okay. So consider that. You do tell us a lot without showing us. And I was hoping that maybe you could start the story with a cat and mouse chase as Juju is on yet another hunt for a tail. Or maybe, again, the kids tease him because he's always trying to find a tail, not just because he didn't have one. So this line, now this is my literal self again, but Juju's mother grabbed the string from him and threw it far from their house. And I laughed at that because how far could that be? She's a little mouse. So did she throw it in her front yard? That's as far as she could throw it from her house, right? So consider those kinds of things. Like, who are your characters? These are real people, these mice. And so, a little mouse, how far is it? Maybe she like skitters and takes it somewhere. But anyway, so then father says further down, if the string belonged to cat, we could be in serious danger. It's obvious that everybody knows the string belongs to the cat because, he already said that he got it from the cat, right? So this whole paragraph actually doesn't feel like it's working for your story. Juju was a little mouse, didn't understand. By bedtime, he was sure his parents didn't love him. And, I don't know what that does for your story, except for get him out of the house again. But maybe he doesn't, I didn't know, why would he think his parents didn't love him? That didn't make sense to me. And you also have to make sure your main character does the saving of the day. And in this case, the parents do it. Juju's out there in danger, and then the parents are like, hey, cat, over here. And then the mother's like, over here. And then you watch your father when he's been so badly hurt that the wound is so bad that I mother cannot even fix it. I got to go get a doctor, but take care of him, even though you're too little to understand anything. So that I didn't buy either. The biting of the tail off, yeah, kind of brutal. And let's see, I'd love to see Juju saving his parents from the cat, thanks to his non-tail, or the kids. I just prefer he be born like that, and it's his weakness until it becomes his strength. Okay, and that's his arc. Another suggestion. So let's see. The doctor, I think he's an unnecessary character. And then Juju wants to be his helper, and that seems just like you're veering off the path of your story. And also the doctor saying, if you listen well, then you can be my helper. It's a little preachy. And we try not to do that teaching a lesson thing. A bit of grammar. Juju still wished his tail was longer. It should be Juju still wished his tail were longer, because it's contrary to fact. And I love the title. I still love the title, but I don't think it's strong enough to hold up an entire story. And because at the end, it's all about the three tails, right? The tale of the three tails. And I love, love, love the name Juju. Adorable, adorable name. So that is Rosie's story.